Hey everyone, welcome to Mountain Beast Mysteries. Today we're going to be talking about a recent set of Yeti tracks that has kind of hit the worldwide news, which is kind of interesting. But before we get into that, I wanted to mention that my good friend Doug Mackay, if you've been following Mountain Beast Mysteries since its early days about a year ago, you guys will know who Doug Mackay is. He's one of my good friends who has been out, to the Nordic habituation site with me. He's in quite a few of the early Mountain Beast Mysteries videos. He's kind of a polarizing character on the channel. Some of you really liked him, and some of you guys didn't really like him, mainly because of his skeptical side. He can be pretty skeptical. But Doug actually recently started to create a podcast, and he just launched the first episode yesterday. So it's called the Lone Crow Podcast. I have a link down below in the description. Make sure you guys check it out. His first episode is really cool. It's about the Wendigo. Really well done. It is so good and so well done. I'm very proud of him. And I'm actually probably going to be a guest host on a lot of episodes. So go to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications button, and it's going to be a weekly thing. So I'm really excited for that. He's entertaining these ideas, which is great. He's not being totally skeptical now. So making progress. So a little while ago, back on April 29th, the Indian Army put up a post on Twitter. And this is what the post says. It says, for the first time, an Indian Army mountaineering expedition team has sighted mysterious footprints of the mythical beast Yeti, measuring 32 by 15 inches, close to Makalu Base Camp on the 9th of April 2019. This elusive snowman has only been sighted at Makalu Baroon National Park in the past. So, Yeti tracks, 32 inches long by 15 inches wide. Is that possible? I mean, I've heard of tracks being found getting up to 20 inches almost, which is crazy. These tracks are in the snow. You can see the images here. They are in the snow, and they appear to be in a straight line. There's no really distinctive right or left foot. And of course, when we're looking at tracks in the snow, there's going to be a serious amount of distortion due to weather and due to the sun hitting these tracks and, melting away the snow. Tracks in snow are really, hard to identify, especially, based on the amount of time that passes between, when they were made and when they're discovered, because they can end up looking totally different. I mean, it's possible that these are even tracks from a rabbit or a hare of some kind, due to the fact that they're in a straight line, and then maybe the sunlight kind of distorted the tracks in that sense. And the more sunlight hits these things, the bigger the tracks get and the smaller the gap in between them gets. So we can't tell what they are, really. There's no definition. You can't see toes or any features like that. Now, I've found tracks in the snow. If you watch the Supernatural Sasquatch documentary on the channel here, you can see we found tracks in the snow. There's a trackway, and in that you can actually make out left and right feet, which is pretty cool. Now, those tracks I can't say for sure as well, if they're Sasquatch or not, but they're very promising. I don't know if they're Sasquatch, I don't know if they're Yeti, I don't know what they are. If it's not those two things, it's probably a rabbit or something along those lines. I'm honestly not too familiar with the wildlife in this region. Now, there has been many news channels and Indian news channels reporting this, and I guess the most shocking thing about this case to me is watching these news reports and seeing how people who are totally, I don't want to say uninterested, but definitely not educated on the subject of Bigfoot or Yeti or cryptids, seeing them talk about this stuff. I mean, surely they're told to talk about it and they're forced to, so they have to kind of sound interested, but the way they talk about it, they just describe it as a mystical or mythical beast or creature, and it's very, I don't know, it's not a really in-depth look at the creature or at the topic. I mean, when they're showing this on the news clips, the only I guess, reference material they pull up. And a lot of these news channels did this, was they pulled up clips from the old Adventures of Tintin cartoon, Tintin in Tibet. That's the specific episode where they encounter the Yeti in the later half of the episode. So in that sense, they're already not taking it very seriously. I mean, in the one news report I watched, they had 4 different people, I guess, sharing their thoughts on it, and there was only one of them that more or less knew what he was talking about, or had, previous knowledge on the subject. He was also saying, which I thought was kind of funny, was that if this creature is walking around, I mean, this wasn't actually in India, I should say, as well. This is in Nepal, so they were across the border. But if this creature, if a Yeti or something along those lines was, marching around in the snow in this area, the guy said that whatever method, the Indian Army has of, I guess, identifying things, like at the border, and catching them before they can cross, that system is not working properly, because, something was walking around there without the Indian Army knowing, right at the border, and they should know, but I guess they got a lot of stuff to figure out there. It's crazy how it kind of became a worldwide thing, this post, because I don't know, we know here at Mountain Beast Mysteries, and all you guys know, you subscribers know, that people find tracks that are much more definitive, much clearer than these tracks on a regular basis in North America, and a lot of them don't become like sensationalized in the news, and they don't even make it to the news. They just get shared around in Facebook groups and uploaded to YouTube. But there are plenty of tracks out there that have been discovered in recent times, and for the past, I don't know, 100 years probably. So I guess just because it was the Indian Army, a government group that posted this, makes it really interesting, because they're willing to go out there and say that there's a Yeti or a cryptid out there, something you wouldn't hear in North America. People like to talk about the Bigfoot cover-up over here, which is kind of crazy. Seems like other countries are, more inclined to reveal this stuff. I mean, in Russia, they like to talk about the Yeti as if it's a real creature. They're more willing to accept it. And, we had a lot of video clips and reports coming out of Russia of Yeti-like creatures. Not Bigfoot related, but down in like Mexico, the government acknowledges the existence of UFOs as if they're real, right? They're not scared to come out and say that, or say that they're looking into it, which I think is pretty cool. Maybe we should start doing that over here with Bigfoot. Yeah, a lot of these news reports, they don't make the subject look very good, because, there are a lot of us out there that take it seriously and are genuinely interested in it. And to the general public, people who, maybe don't believe, or who are totally uninterested in it, when they see this, it almost looks comedic in a sense when you see these reports and the way they talk about it. So, I don't know. We got a lot of work ahead of us, as far as making people or convincing people, I guess, that this is something that should be taken seriously. I can't tell you what the tracks are for certain. I can't tell you if they're Yeti. I can't tell you if they're not. They are interesting. They appear to be big, 32 inches, but, they're probably much smaller than that. I suspect something along the lines of a rabbit or something like that was hopping along, and, the tracks got distorted over time. So, when you see a trackway like this, especially if you're on an expedition and you got a bunch of guys with you, the best thing to do is just follow them. Did they not follow the tracks? If they did follow them, it probably wasn't anything, because, we haven't heard of anything interesting happening afterwards. So, I don't know. That's what I would have done. If I was out there with a team of people and I came across these, I would have followed them as far as I could. Could just be a publicity stunt. If it was, they did a good job, because, everyone knows about it. But yeah, this post came out on the 29th. The tracks weren't actually found on the 29th. They were found 20 days prior on April 9th. But like I said, a lot of people are finding tracks out there, and tracks that are better than this that don't get acknowledged by mainstream media, which is probably for the best. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of this story, of these images. Do you think they're Yeti? Do you think there's something else? I want to hear your guys' theories, because a lot of you have really good theories, and they're very interesting. So let me know down below. Make sure to check out Doug's podcast, the Lone Crow Podcast. I have a link down below for that as well. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for watching this episode of Mountain Beast Mysteries. We'll see you next time.